Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. I know I've been very busy recently. Probably this next month is going to be definitely pretty tough. But I'm going to try to put out a few videos still if I can. Have the energy. And yes, planning on getting a haircut soon. All that good stuff. So, alright. Let's jump right into this. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the video games I played, a little bit more fantasy video games that I've really enjoyed, and certain kinds of objects and structures, physical structures, and puzzles that can be used in fantasy video games. Or whether you're designing them, or whether you're just coming up with like brainstorming or creative writing. So it's kind of, a lot of these ideas kind of go into other areas too. So, some of these will just kind of hint at other kinds of structures as well. That yeah. So the first structure I'm talking about, and some of the best structures and locations to use in a fantasy video game. I'm kind of thinking about like something along the lines of The Legend of Corandia, with a point-and-click adventure video game, where you go screen by screen in like a small little area, rather than a big map kind of idea. And so an altar would be a good sized object, or let's say structure, to use. And if you're in a forest or a meadow or something, and you come across an altar, it's a stone altar in the middle of nowhere. This is one of the best because it's so open-ended. You're not really sure. That with ideas of altars that are used, to sacrifice something to God or a god of some sort, or some kind of sacrifice. You put something on the altar, and then something happens. So again, there's so many possibilities with this idea. Really, there are, and it's always best to use not too many. If you want to use more than one of these, probably just between 1 to 3 or 4 of them. Otherwise, it gets a little repetitive. Not too many of them, but altars, I think, are really always intriguing. Always intriguing how you use them, and if you use them the wrong way, it could harm you. So you have to kind of think through very carefully the nature of the altar itself. What does it look like? Just kind of like a whoa. So there's so many other things. There's some of these are kind of more basic, but there's a lot of things that I've come up with in the past that have been a bit more intricate and I think original, but have to do with just what the devil is this kind of thing. For instance, like, I didn't write this down, but my list here outline, but it's like a spinning spheres, and they're just kind of small, but they're just kind of going around in a circle, different colors. What is it? You just come across these spinning things that come around in a circle. Maybe what are they there for? Or different objects, perhaps different shapes, different three-dimensional objects. Maybe they're going kind of slow enough that you can try grabbing one. What would happen if you did? But yeah, what's its purpose? And it's got to serve some kind of purpose. So, some things can always just be sources of magical spells, or whether permanent or temporary spells you can have, or weapons. It's often really, I think, a great idea. If with some things, it can be used toward a quest, or a main quest, or a primary quest of some sort. A lot more in-depth quest. Kind of like the four-leaf clover idea with leprechauns. It's kind of a basic idea. Or fake gold versus real gold, and all that stuff. Eggs, and birds, and that sort of thing. Okay, so you also have the idea of a well. Wells are kind of maybe there's the aspect of, is the water? Is it water? Is it water in a well? Hopefully it's water. Something good. Is it going to be okay to drink? And what's down the well? Is it somehow gateway to some other area. If you jump down it, there's a little place down there you can go explore. Um, Perhaps wells are a bit more very associated with fantasy, even more so than altars. Altars, of course, the classic altar would be, of course, the Christian analogy with Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's probably the most well-known altar in a lot of, well, one of the most well-known altars in fantasy. The stone table, right? C.S. Lewis. So altar and well so far. Of course, um, I think in the Black Cauldron there's a well in the Disney version at least. But so another idea is, of course, a staircase. But in order to climb the staircase, which maybe you need to do in a game, maybe I hopefully I haven't mentioned this before, but you need to step on certain stairs. Some stairs are trap stairs or bad. You need to, there's little symbols in each stair, kind of thing. It goes somewhere, and you need to go. Maybe to an invisible portal in the sky. You can't really tell where you're going. Bridge, classic example. A lot of games will have bridges of some sort that has some kind of issue, whether it's an invisible bridge like Indiana Jones, or a falling bridge, or a rickety bridge that's a little bit unstable, or a some bridge turns into a giant snake, or something. You find out it's alive or something, or it's a moving bridge or something. There's all these kind of moving puzzles and things, and mechanical things, of course, that in some games are kind of fun or challenging. Another idea of just as a puzzle, let's say you need to move something somewhere in order to get to the next place, and you can choose certain animals to do the job, but the animals have different dispositions, and some of them might turn on you. So of course you want to, if it's a big heavy piece of like stone, you're going to need something really, really strong to move that thing. But again, it might have a very stubborn nature. If you have like a bull, bear, golem, that would be the obvious choice. But with a golem, maybe you'd have to be very specific about what you want to do, and maybe well, I don't know. You have other possibilities there. A lion, but you probably wouldn't go with the lion, but or a gorilla or something. The gorilla's kind of wants bananas or something, So, a bear wants honey, berries, fish. The bull wants to kill you, so you have to be careful. I don't know. So, it's interesting. I've seen some artwork where you have a really tall house in a forest, and that house, there's all kinds of different styles of houses that are fantasy houses. Some are really skinny and mushroomy. Some of them are a little bit more, I don't know, mysterious colors, purples and blues, and I don't know, dark colors, maybe like dark green. But if you can get some very striking ideas with the way that the trees are around a singular house. That's just in a little clearing, big thick forest. I love that image. So what's inside the house? Let's say it has all these symbols and things on it. Like, oh boy. Yeah. So fountains and pools, always of course, you don't know. Is it water again, like the well idea, or is in there is it something that's going to be good for you, or is it something that's going to be a little dangerous, poisonous? Who knows? You have to look at the color. You have to kind of smell it. You have to maybe take some in a little cup and pour it on the grass or see what happens. Or can you do that? Is it going to work? All kinds of things about that stuff. Graves. Graves have been done a lot in the past with the idea of the undead and zombies and things. You could have different kinds of graves. You could have a grave, or you could have a cemetery that's full of really good people that have died. You have a cemetery that's full of very evil people, which might be a little scarier. You can have a cemetery that's unmarked graves. You're not really sure what spirits have what the people die there, if they are people, So yeah, there's some possibilities there, but I think it's been done a lot before, but it's still a lot of possibilities. A giant balance. Now, this is something I haven't really seen very much. And of course, you usually see balance as like something that would be a symbolic for like a judge, that sort of thing, a law, that kind of balance. So you normally see that when some kind of puzzle or something. It could be a bigger balance. You could have in order to get to a certain, in order to unlock a certain door, you have to um, make a certain balance totally balanced. And how do you do that? Well, let's say it's something magical where it's not just a question of how heavy certain things are, but some other quality about objects, whether or not they maybe they have something to do with good and evil. That's an obvious one. Or some innate worth, maybe the monetary worth of something, or the magical, something having to do with power, magical power or something along those lines. But you have to kind of think a little bit unconventionally sometimes with these puzzles. That's kind of there's all kinds of possibilities there too. Cloaks and curtains. I think it's very interesting to have an idea where, let's say you're in a fantasy world, you're exploring a video game or whatever, and let's say you find a way to pull back a curtain or something that's covering the entire area, even, or an entire area. And you find when you pull back this curtain, there's a whole other dimension to this world above or beyond that you didn't even see, or things that you maybe couldn't see. And there's a few of them, and then maybe one of the goals of this game, maybe you need to pull back all the curtains before you can find something that's amiss, something that's very hidden in the world or something. But and how do you pull back the curtain? Is it a physical kind of curtain, or is it more of a intangible something, or something or other that's curtainish, or a cloak, but a huge, not just like a human-sized cloak, but like and so to speak, if you catch my drift, it's a covering of some sort. Fire and light. These are very common objects that are used to light up dark areas. Fire has a lot of different possibilities. Not only the nature of the fire, but what it can do, how it can help you, it's a weapon, source of heat. Again, a lot of games don't really explore the elements as much as I think maybe they should. With they're like in Icewind Dale, for instance, in Baldur's Gate game series, they kind of they went into a little bit more of the idea of the Dungeons and Dragons with the damage that cold can do, cold in the elements, and they went into barbarian skills and all the different skills and things. And I thought that was very kind of interesting about Icewind Dale. I wish more games were all those lines, but yeah, I mean, I guess you could, if you came across like a solid lightning bolt, obviously that was some kind of thing having to do with lightning, electricity. But the fire has a little bit more. There's more potential for different things that are associated with fire, I think. Or if you had a big chunk of ice, it'd be so cold. Maybe you want a glove to hold that thing. Of course, maybe ice cold darts or something that you can fire at that thing, or you can freeze something with that. Whatever it is, So, but of course, they have sources of light. Light is one of the primary ideas, oftentimes, that's in fantasy, or the use of light, different kinds of light, glow in the dark versus just all kinds of different colors and things. You also have the idea of poison and venom, which I haven't always fully explored, but the idea of if you kill something that's poisonous or venomous, somehow using its poison or venom to enhance a weapon, or maybe you want to be careful because maybe some poisons or venoms can actually destroy a weapon. So maybe if they're only used, of course, you're thinking of good and evil, even also the chemical aspect of different poisons or venoms. But that's an interesting kind of thing, and I think that's been explored in Dragon Age with enchantments and that sort of thing. But it's been done before. But there's always other possibilities with this too. Different kinds of creatures that have different kinds of poisons and venoms. Of course, you have the Alchemy Lab. It's been done in Legend of Carandia, but I think it wasn't very effective, in my opinion. It was just very unclear what, with all the color, different things. It was very, yeah, it was a little bit too open, in my opinion. That was one of the hardest things in the game that made it almost impossible to keep going, unless you. So, but anyway, the Alchemy Lab. Now, musical instruments again. This is the thing about Loom. It's that idea of using musical pitches as a spell. I think it's one of the best ideas anyone's ever come up with in any games. But yeah, using musical instruments for different effects, whether it's a harp or a flute or a horn. Those are some of the primary fantasy instruments, I suppose. There's a few others as well. Bells and stuff. But Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 used, and also Isodale and other ones like that used different kinds of instruments, especially by bards. You could use them for magical effects and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of possibilities there, especially with opening magically locked doors and things, or having effects on certain effects on different creatures. The harp and the big giant dog in Harry Potter kind of thing. That's an obvious one. The harp and sleep. Yeah, it's very relaxing. Some of these are very straightforward, but flutes are really I think harp and flute are really integral there. Trumpet or but stone and wood faces. Now this is the thing about Fable that I find very intriguing. The portals, or the demon portals, called demon portals. They're not really demons. But yeah, you see these stone faces in a hill, or a face, or something coming up, or you see a stone face on a gate, or a wood face, or even a face made out of leaves. It's always a little bit, again, nebulous. It's great. It's like mysterious. So, maybe you can talk to it, but you're not sure. It has a somewhat neutral moral alignment. You're trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. Oh yeah, I love that stuff. And the stone face idea, I think, is somewhat more associated perhaps with Celtic mythology and fantasy, but also somewhat Germanic and other things as well. Yeah, but I really associated that with Ireland and stuff, definitely, and England as well. Keys, rings, scepters, these are kind of very commonly used. Keys, obviously, but there's I think to be a little creative with rings and scepters. Some of these objects maybe have certain uses that are magical that aren't always very clear. So you get them, and then at some point you try them on things, and hopefully they work. Maybe to open different magically locked doors, or show you things that maybe things that are visible. To even with a reveal visibility spell, it doesn't work. For some things, and it's only works to have certain scepters or rings or something like that to show some things. So again, magic kind of stuff, magical ideas. Let's see, mirrors to see things, to call things to remembrance, like some memory kinds of things. To talk to someone long, that's so far away, it's deceased, or so all kinds of things with mirrors. Mirrors are huge, and mushrooms, obviously shrinking and growing, but also just kind of again the sense of distortion of reality of some sort. Ovens and fireplaces. This is an idea that I think doesn't always. It seems to be kind of a little bit ho-hum, but if you can use an alchemy lab to create different kinds of things, why not use an oven or a fireplace? In a similar way, you have fire, You have a source of heat. You have different maybe ingredients nearby, the kitchen. Yeah, just the simple idea of creating a loaf of bread, or just making a loaf of bread, or cookies. There's obviously the gingerbread man idea where he comes alive as you good or evil. Well, different. Cinnamon has a certain effect on creatures, for good or for worse. Better for worse. Different ingredients you have, you mix them, make a cookies or bread or some other kind of confection or pastry or something else. Some kind of stew, cauldrons. It's kind of in that same ballpark. Cauldrons kind of go with alchemy and with the no, it's essentially a big pot, but these kinds of you can go up to a house, maybe it's vacant again. I thought this idea, maybe it's a witch's hat, you're not sure. It's a big cauldron. You got these ingredients. You can make something if you want to, but do you? And if you do, is the owner of the house going to come in and yeah. So you also have the certain kinds of fantasy creatures that tend to ask riddles, and like leprechauns, or sphinxes especially. Perhaps there's some other ones as well. Yeah, there's definitely other ones, but if you come across the Medusa, I'm not sure if it's a single entity. It's a Greek female, probably evil kind of creature. You come across something very unexpected, and they want to talk with you. It's kind of a nice relief instead of just having to fight them and that sort of thing, or something more unpleasant. But you can come across a totally original kind of fantasy creature, of course, that's very brainy, perhaps. Of course, dragons are also in this arena. Dragons, sphinxes. Dragons, that like to kind of have, they enjoy mind game type stuff. Or not just the mind games to mess with you, but puzzles and that sort of thing. And if you ask them a riddle, and that they think is, or a puzzle of some sort, that they think is worthy of their intellect, and they have a tough time figuring out whether they figure it out or not, they might let you live. That's I love that kind of stuff. So, and then of course you always have puzzles that have to do with matching some sort. So whether it's color, or whether it's the nature of certain fantasy creatures, or whether it's certain kinds of objects and what they can be used for, or symbols and what they might mean. The matching puzzles, I think, never get old. I think they're always kind of interesting. But again, so I want to talk a little bit about this subject on this video, object structures and puzzles that can be used in fantasy video games. I know there's a website called Object Bomb that, a lot of things online about video games are kind of a little bit boring, a little bit basic. There's not a lot of more in-depth or really interesting ideas to help fuel the ideas for a video game. And so, that's why I'm putting some stuff out there. One of the reasons I'm putting some. So again, I asked just, let me know if you're going to use some of these ideas. I'd appreciate it. But so in this case, man, these are such nebulous things some of these things that, but I'm just going to helping create a spark, get going a little bit more on this end. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.